So this is going to be our flight scenario presentation. We're going to be talking about the loss of critical engine after takeoff. My name is Jeffrey Rima. This is AVIA440 and multi-engine flight. So the trip today, we're going to be departing KJYO, going down to Luray VFR. Since we're in the DC Special Flight Rules area, we're going to fly west towards Purcellville. Then we're going to pick up the Linden VOR, keep heading basically straight down to the Luray Airport. Due to wind conditions, we're going to be departing runway 35, and that's going to be important for us a little bit later on in the video. So the pilot, I'm the PIC for the flight. My qualifications, I have 25 hours total time in the light twin aircraft, 500 hours total time. I'm a commercially rated instrument pilot, and I'm current in all areas where I'm rated. The I'm Safe checklist, illness, medication, sleep, alcohol, fatigue, and emotions, all check good. Ready to take on this flight as your pilot, so it should be a non-issue. The aircraft is the Diamond DA42 Twin Star. Its fuel performance and capabilities are all well beyond this limit, or well beyond the needs for our flight today. This is a very capable aircraft, so flying about 50 miles is going to be no issue for it. 18 of my 25 hours have been in the Twin Star, so I am familiar with the aircraft. All maintenance is current. All ADs are complied with, and the avionics I'm familiar with, and their functioning is designed. So something that we would take note of in pre-flight is going to be the one engine and operative climb rate. This helps us make our decisions should something go wrong. And on takeoff, we're going to see a climb rate of about 208 feet, dwindling down to about 77 feet at the lowest, up at about 4,000 feet pressure altitude. So something we need to note, we actually might get a little bit more on our climb because we're actually right around 400 to 500 feet pressure altitude, as opposed to the 1,000 feet. But I'd like to go with that higher number just to give us a little extra safety margin for our planning. Aircraft hazards, it does have a critical left engine. Obviously, if that left engine fails, VMC is going to be a factor for us. So we're going to be cognizant of that, and we know where that VMC is. Single engine climb rate is going to be another hazard. It's only 208 feet a minute at its greatest, so it might be a little bit more, but you get the point. It's not very high. And we are not going to be able to clear the mountains to our west if we fly our desired flight plan. So the environment. So both airports are generally mild. Temperatures around 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but wind, all that stuff is pretty good. No rain, no nothing like that we have to contend with. For KJYO, we do have a temporary tower. We have a 5,500 foot runway. Very dense traffic, so coming back to the airport could be a little bit difficult. We're inside the DC CIFRA, or the Leesburg maneuvering area, so we have a little bit of space that we can get out of without having to file a flight plan. And then we're underneath Dulles' Class Bravo airspace, so that's going to be something we have to pay attention to as well. Luray is a little bit different. It's a non-towered airport, 3,126 foot runway, a little bit shorter. It's got very light traffic, and it's uncontrolled airspace below 700 feet AGL. Some of the environmental hazards is that airspace at Leesburg and the dense traffic over at Leesburg. For Luray, a little bit different. Our mountains, our highest obstacle is going to be 3,474 feet, so way up there for us. It's got a little bit of a shorter runway, so if we lose an engine or something on takeoff there, we're definitely going to want to be on our toes and making the right decisions there. External pressures for this flight are low. My friends are all pilots. They're just coming on the flight for fun. We're just trying to get a little bit of cross-country time. And care has been taken to ensure that nobody's got any pressures should any issues arise before the flight. Getting to the Luray Caverns is just something we're going to do for fun. It's not something that we have to do for business. So scenario, flight planning, pre-flight, and run-up all seemed fine. Once we took the runway, takeoff power was set. The aircraft rotated at the right speed. We reached 50 feet AGL, and then all of a sudden the left engine stopped producing power. So it's decision time. Obviously, we're going to fly the airplane. Once we have the airplane being flown, we're going to make the best decision for us. Just for the sake of time, I've ruled it down to what I think is the best decision. I think this could be debated, but this is what I believe would be the right decision in this case. We're going to just continue straight ahead, pick up the Potomac River, and fly over to Frederick Airport. Frederick Airport's runways are plenty long, and we can basically go straight in on the runway there if needed. There's no real obstacles if we follow the river, kind of out to the bend there. And then we can go basically straight up and make it right into the airport with no problem. Now, something that I caveated down at the bottom here is this decision is made before you take off. So this is part of the pre-flight planning. If we were taking off runway 17 You can see at the bottom of that picture there, we would go straight into Dulles. It'd be a non-issue as well. But it's something to make sure we have in mind. Obviously, if we can land back on our initial runway, that's fine. But in our scenario, gear was up. Making the runway was not an option. The procedure for handling this type of emergency, I put the drill in here, straight out of the POH for the Diamond, the DA42. It's going to be mixture full forward. It's got one lever in the new DA42s. Rudder to maintain directional control, airspeed 90 knots. Ignition switches, going to make sure it's on. Fuel pumps are on. Flaps are up. Landing gear's up. Failed engine, identify, verify, feather. Then you start your engine securing process. Once the engine is all secure, you're going to keep flying. Now, at a low altitude, do the memory items, do it the best you can. I would not be running the checklist. Not until you get to a safe altitude where running the checklist is possible. References that I used, we used the Diamond flight manual. We used the FAA PHAC and Airplane Flying Handbook. Airplane Flying Handbook and the PHAC. And we used some charts out of SkyVector. Look forward to hearing your critique. Thank you very much for listening. I don't think I covered all the all scenarios here if you lose in one engine, but I think I covered, based off our scenario, the best thing that we could do. And that's just fly over to Frederick. If you think circling around back to the airport would be a better idea, I'd like to hear about that too. But I do think that I made the right decision. Either way, as long as that other engine stays good, we're going to make it either back to the airport or over to Frederick. It's just important to remember that traffic at Leesburg can get pretty dense at times. So, if you have an emergency, you're trying to get a lot of airplanes out of the way. Whereas just flying straight out, you're going to get out of the airspace that's congested, and Frederick will have time to plan for you when you announce that emergency. Either way, have a nice day, and I'll talk to you soon.